Let me talk to the part of you that's been quiet for too long, the part that's tired, the part that's been through storms. You made it here, through the fire, through the noise, through the mess. But now it's time to do something greater. This isn't about starting over. This is about rebuilding stronger, smarter, wiser. 2025 isn't just another year. It's a reset. It's your call to rise. You've been knocked down. Life didn't ask for permission when it pushed you. It didn't care about your plans, your dreams, your timing. But guess what? And if you're still breathing, you've got purpose. You've got a reason. That's your power. Rebuilding isn't easy. It's painful. It's slow. It's quiet when you want noise, as long as you crave support. But here's the truth. Your breakthrough never shows up without your breakdown. Too many people wait on motivation. Too many wait on perfect. Wait on the money, the approval, the applause. But the real warriors, they start in the dark. They grind in silence. They rebuild while no one claps. 2025 is not going to hand you anything. You've got to go take it piece by piece. Discipline over doubt. Action over excuses. Faith over fear. Stop telling yourself someday. Someday is a lie. It's a thief. It's the graveyard of dreams. You're not too late. You're not too broken. You're not too tired. You're exactly where you're supposed to be to rise again. Let the setbacks teach you. Let the silence sharpen you. Let the failure mold you. Because when you rebuild from the ashes, you don't come back to shakeable. Most people misunderstand what rebuilding really means. They think it's about starting over because you failed. They think it means you lost, that something went wrong, that you're broken. But what they miss, what they'll never fully understand unless they've lived it, is that rebuilding is one of the strongest, most courageous decisions a person can make. When you rebuild, you're not admitting defeat. You're declaring dominion over your life. You're saying, I've been through it, but I'm not staying in it. That's not weakness, that's power, real power, not the kind that shows off, the kind that shows up every single day, because rebuilding doesn't happen on a stage. It happens when no one's watching. It happens at 4 a.m. when the world's is quiet and the weight of your past is loud. It happens in the gym when you're exhausted. It happens at your desk when you're broke, tired, and still putting in the work. It happens in those small moments when you choose to move forward, even though the past keeps calling your name. Weakness is standing back up. Weakness is blaming everyone else. Strength is taking responsibility. Weakness avoids the pain. Strength walks through it with purpose. And listen, rebuilding hurts. It hurts to strip away what you thought you'd keep forever. It hurts to accept that some dreams died, that some people left, that some parts of you had to be buried in order for new parts to be born. But that pain is part of the process. It's not there to break you. It's there to build you. You see, anybody can keep going when things are going right, when the money's good, when the relationship is smooth, when everything's falling into place. But that's not strength. Strength's what you show when everything's falling apart. And you still say, I'm not done. There's nothing soft about rebuilding. It's gritty, it's raw, it's real. And it demands more of you than you ever thought you had. You have to look in the mirror and face your own decisions. You have to admit what hurt you and what you let hurt you. You have to forgive yourself, not once, but over and over again. That takes strength. That takes tell you something. No one can rebuild for you. They can cheer for you, they can support you, but only you can carry the bricks. Only you know the cost, the sacrifice, the pressure. Only you know how many times you wanted to quit and didn't. And when you're in that space, when you're putting yourself back together from the inside out, you realize that this version of you, the one who's been bruised, humbled, awakened, is so much more powerful than the version that had it easy. That's why rebuilding is never weakness, because it requires you to reconnect with your purpose, refocus your vision, and reclaim your worth. It forces you to stop pretending and start becoming. And that's something not everyone is willing to do. So don't ever let anybody make you feel small for starting over. Don't let them label you weak because you had to step back and rebuild. They don't know your story. They don't know your fight. They don't know what it took to still be here. Strength is rising when it would have been easier to stay down. Strength is choosing growth when staying the same feels safer. Strength is saying, I lost a lot, but I'm still going to win. And here's the secret when you rebuild yourself, brick by brick, habit by habit. You don't just return, you return unrecognizable. Not because you changed everything, but because you changed what mattered, your mindset, your discipline, your boundaries, your faith. That's why rebuilding is the highest form of strength, because it proves you didn't give up on the most important project you'll ever work on, you. Most people misunderstand what rebuilding really means. They think it's about starting over because you failed. They think it means you lost, that something went wrong, that you're broken. But what they miss, what they'll never fully understand unless they've lived it, is that rebuilding is one of the strongest, most courageous decisions a person can make. When you rebuild, you're not admitting defeat. You're declaring dominion over your life. You're saying, I've been through it, but I'm not staying in it. That's not weakness. That's power. Real power Not the kind that shows off, the kind that shows up every single day, because rebuilding doesn't happen on a stage. It happens when no one's watching. It happens at 4 a.m. when the world is quiet and the weight of your past is loud. It happens in the gym when you're exhausted. It happens on your desk when you're broke, tired, and still putting in the work. It happens in those small moments when you choose to move forward, even though the past keeps calling your name. Weakness is standing back up. Weakness is blaming everyone else. Strength is taking responsibility. Weakness avoids the pain. Strength walks through with purpose. And listen, rebuilding hurts. It hurts to strip away what you thought you'd keep forever. It hurts to accept that some dreams died, that some people left, that some part of you had it buried in order for new parts to be born. But that pain is part of the process. It's not there to break you. It's there to build you. You see, anybody can keep going when things are going right, when the money's good, when the relationship is smooth, when everything's falling into place. But that's not strength. Strength's what you show when everything's falling apart and you still say, I'm not done. There's nothing soft about rebuilding. It's gritty. It's raw. It's real. And it demands more of you than you ever thought you had. You have to look in the mirror and face your own decisions. You have to admit what hurt you and what you let hurt you. You have to forgive yourself, not once, but over and over again. That takes strength. That takes guts. Let me tell you something. No one can rebuild for you. They can cheer for you. They can support you. But only you can carry the bricks. Only you know the cost, the sacrifice, the pressure. Only you know how many times you wanted to quit and didn't. And when you're in that space, when you're putting yourself back together from the inside out, you realize that this version of you, the one who's been bruised, humbled, awakened, is so much more powerful than the version that had it easy. That's why rebuilding is never weakness. Because it requires you to reconnect with your purpose, refocus your vision, and reclaim your worth. It forces you to stop pretending and start becoming. And that's something not everyone is willing to do. So don't ever let anybody make you feel small for starting over. Don't let them label you weak because you had to step back and rebuild. They don't know your story. They don't know your fight. They don't know what it took to still be here. Strength is rising when it would have been easier to stay down. Strength is choosing growth when staying the same feels safer. Strength is saying, I lost a lot, but I'm still going to win. And here's the secret when you rebuild yourself, brick by brick, habit by habit. You don't just return, you return unrecognizable. Not because you changed everything, but because you change what mattered, your mindset, your discipline, your boundaries, your faith. That's why rebuilding is the highest form of strength. Because it proves you didn't give up on the most important project you'll ever work on. You. Let's be honest. Everybody loves the destination. Everybody wants to hold the trophy, live the dream, show the success. But not everybody wants to walk the path that leads there. Because that path is lonely. It's quiet. It's the kind of journey that tests your heart before it rewards your hands. See, when you make the decision to chase something greater, when you set your eyes on something that demands more of you, you begin to separate yourself. Not because you're better, but because you're willing to carry what others put down. You're willing to keep going when others quit. That's when the loneliness begins. You're going to have days where no one understands your schedule, where people say you've changed, where they don't get why you're not at every party, why you don't waste time the same way anymore. And they'll call it selfish. They'll call it obsession. But the truth is you're building something they can't see yet. That grind, the late nights, the early mornings, the weekends you give up, the discipline you force into your routine, that grind doesn't show up on social media. It doesn't get applause, doesn't go viral. It's just you day after day, facing your weaknesses, fighting your doubts, pushing through when no one's watching. And sometimes that hurts. Sometimes you want someone to notice, someone to say, I see what you're doing and I'm proud of you. But you don't always get that. Not in the middle of it, because no one claps for the seed when it's underground. They only clap for the tree once it's ground. But here's the thing, the reward at the end, the breakthrough, the win, the moment where everything clicks. That moment belongs to you, not them. You earned it. You sacrificed for it. You carried it through the fire when it was heavy. You didn't run from the grind. You ran into it. You paid in silence so you could succeed in strength. So yes, the grind is lonely, but that's part of the process. That's the footer. That's where the dreamers get separated from the doors. The people who talk about it from the people who show up for it. The ones who want it from the ones who are willing to bleed for it. And let me tell you something, the grind will expose you. It'll show you your habits, your mindset, your excuses. It won't lie to you. It won't flatter you. It will demand everything you've got and then ask for more. But the ones who embrace it, who lean into it, who make peace with the pain, those are the ones who rise. You've got to get used to walking alone sometimes. Not because people don't love you, but because they don't hear the same calling you do. They weren't assigned your mission. They weren't built for your mountain. You are. And when the reward comes, and it will come, you won't have to explain it. You won't have to justify your grind because the results will speak loudly, authentically, powerfully. The world may have ignored your struggle, but it won't be able to ignore your success. So don't resent the lowliness. Use it. Let it sharpen you. Let it focus you. Let it strip away everything that doesn't serve the mission. That silence you feel. That's where your frustration you fear. That's where your clarity is born. The grind is lonely, but it is sacred. It is where you meet the rawest version of yourself. No ego, no mask, just you and the work. And in that space, something amazing happens. You start to believe, not in the hype, not in the outcome, but in yourself. That belief, that's the reward before the reward. That's the foundation under the win. And no one can give you that. No one can take that from you. So the next time you're grinding in silence, remember this. You're not missing out. You're not falling behind. You're investing in a future that only you have the vision to see. And when that future arrives, you'll know the grind was never punishment. It was preparation. In this life, you're going to face resistance. Every dream, every goal, every single step toward growth comes with opposition. There will be days when doubt screams louder than your belief. Moments when fear grips your chest and tries to paralyze your progress. Times when everything you says, just sit down, just give up, just wait it out. But waiting isn't how you win. Hoping alone isn't how you move forward. You don't break through by chance. You break through by choice. Every single day, you don't need to be perfect. You don't need to have it all figured out. But you do need to come ready for battle, because that's what this is. And your weapons in that battle are simple faith, discipline, and action. Let's start with faith. Not just belief in some big outcome. Faith in you. Faith in your assignment. Faith in the work you put in. Faith that even though you can't see the full picture, your steps still matter. Because faith doesn't mean you always feel strong. It means you keep moving even when you feel weak. It means you trust that what you're doing today is building something greater for tomorrow. That your grind is not in vain. That your pain is not without purpose. That even in the silence, even in the setbacks, even when no one understands your vision, you still believe. That's the kind of faith that shakes the ground beneath you. That's the kind that carries you when your legs give out. But faith without discipline is just a wish. Discipline is where the dream gets built. Discipline is showing up when the feeling is gone, when the hype wears off, when it's cold, when it's quiet, when no one is watching. That's when discipline becomes everything. It's waking up early not because you want to, but because your purpose requires it. It's choosing to keep going when your body says stop, when your mind says slow down, and your spirit says not yet. You can't wait for motivation. You train discipline like a muscle. You build it through repetition, through consistency, through sacrifice. Discipline is doing what you said you'd do long after the mood you set it in has faded. That's not glamorous. That's not flashy. That's not the part people post about. But that's the part that wins every single time. Then there's action, the final piece, the most powerful weapon you've got. Because all the faith in the world, all the discipline in your mind, none of it matters without movement, without doing, without stepping forward. Action is the difference between the people who talk and the people who build. It doesn't matter how messy it looks. It doesn't matter if it's small. Every action you take chips away at fear. Every step forward silences the voices that told you you couldn't. Every move is a message to the world and to yourself that you refuse to be stuck. Faith gives you the reason. Discipline gives you the structure. Action gives you the momentum. And when all three are working together, when you believe, when you commit, and when you move, there is no force on earth that can stop you. Not doubt, not delay, not fear, nothing. But here's the truth. You've got to use these weapons daily, not once in a while. Not when it's easy, every single day, when it's raining, when it's tough, when you're tired, when no one claps. You pick up your faith, you tighten your discipline, and you take action again and again. That's how you fight your future. That's how you protect your vision. That's how you rise. You don't need to be the loudest. You don't need to stay consistent. If you can use what you've got with faith in your heart, discipline in your bones, and action in your hands, you'll go farther than anyone expected. Because the world can take your comfort, it can take your routine, but if you hold on to your faith, your discipline, and your ability to move anyway, you're still dangerous, you're still in the game, and you're still headed straight for everything that was meant for you. Too many people walk around like they're stuck in their story, like something that happened 5, 10, 20 years ago stamped a label on them that they'll never shake. They think one mistake means they're broken. One failure means they're finished. One season of pain means they're permanently damaged. But let me tell you something, your past is not your prison. It's your classroom. It was there to teach you, not define you. You're not meant to carry shame around like a weight on your back. That guilt, that regret, that's not meant to hold you down. It's meant to wake you up, to sharpen you, to stretch you, to teach you something that comfort never could. See, everybody wants the growth, but nobody wants the scars. Everybody wants to win, but they want to erase the parts of the journey that were ugly. But those ugly parts, they're part of what made you real. They're part of what makes you powerful. The past wasn't there to break you. It was there to build you. It was there to burn off everything that didn't belong in your next level. It was there to show you who you're not so you could figure out who you really are. Don't run from it. Own it. Stand in it. You don't need to hide what you went through. You need to honor it. Because the truth is, some of the most important lessons in your life didn't come wrapped in success. They came wrapped in pain, in failure, in rejection. And when you survived it, when you kept going, you proved something more valuable than perfection. You proved resilience. You see, life is going to test you. It's going to put you through seasons where it feels like everything's falling apart, but that's not the end of your story. It's just a chapter, and you have the pen. You're not stuck in what happened to you. You're not bound by the old version of you. You get to write something new. You get to become someone better, stronger, wiser, bolder. But first, you have to let go. You have to stop dragging the weight of your past and your future. That failure, that wasn't your identity, it was your initiation. That betrayal, that didn't break you or find you. That time you fell, that was your training ground for the next time you rise. And you will rise. The enemy wants you to believe that what you've done disqualifies you, that you're too late, too far gone, too flawed to make something meaningful out of your life. But listen to me, the very thing you thought disqualified you might be the exact thing that qualifies you to help someone else, to lead, to serve, to inspire. You don't need to erase your past to move forward. You just need to reframe it. You're not a failure. You're not your worst moment. You're not the person who made that mistake. You're the person who learned, the person who got back up, the person who didn't quit. That's who you are. And the most powerful thing you can do today, forgive yourself. Not because you're pretending it didn't happen, because you refuse to let it hold you hostage any longer. You've already paid the price. Now it's time to collect the wisdom, time to use it, time to grow from it. The past may have shaped you, but it does not own you. You do not owe your past anything except the gratitude for the lessons it gave you. And once you accept that, once you stop letting shame dictate your identity, you'll start to move different. You'll walk with power, with grace. Your life is not over. Your story is not finished. It doesn't matter how dark it's been. The next chapter is unread, and you get to write it. So stop living like you're sentenced to your past. That's not your truth. That's not your future. That's not your name. You're not defined by what tried to break you. You're defined by what you build from it. Your past was a lesson, not a life sentence. So here we are, standing at the edge of a brand new chapter, not just a new year, but a new season, a new mindset, a new standard for how you're going to live, move, and rebuild yourself in 2025. You heard the words. But now it's time to make a decision, not tomorrow, not next week out. Because what's ahead of you will require a new version of you, not the one that survived 2024, not the one that's still replaying the same old fears, regrets, and limitations. No, the one you're about to become, that person moves with intention. That person speaks with purpose. That person shows up even when it's hard, even when they're tired, even when no one believes, because they believe it's time to rebuild, not repaint, not cover up, not patch the cracks, rebuild from the ground up, from your thoughts to your habits, from your excuses to your expectations. Tear down the walls you've built around your potential, rip the labels off your past, burn the blueprint that was written in fear, and design a life that demands your greatness. Understand this? You don't need a miracle. You need a made-up mind. You don't need everything to be perfect. You need to move while it's messy. You don't need to be the most talented. You need to be the most relentless. Stop waiting for somebody to choose you, call you, believe in you, or save you. You are your own rescues. This isn't the year of excuses. This isn't the season of delay. This is the year you take everything that tried to break you and turn it into the reason you rise. The pain, use it. The setbacks, study them. The silence, fill it with the sound of your footsteps moving forward. Because if you're serious about rebuilding yourself in 2025, you've got to understand something deep. This process is not about motivation, it's about transformation. And transformation doesn't come with applause. It comes in the unseen moments, the sacrifices no one celebrates, the nights you show up with nothing left, the mornings you choose purpose over comfort. You're going to lose people. You're going to lose habits. You're going to lose the old version of you that was okay with average. That's the price of real growth. But what you gain, oh, it's worth everything. You gain discipline. You gain peace. You gain focus. You gain a future that looks nothing like your past because you refuse to stay in pieces. This is your moment, and it's not going to come dressed in convenience. It's going to show up as a challenge. It's going to test your commitment, but you were built for this. You've already walked through fire and came out with your soul intact. Now it's time to build from fire, brick by brick, day by day. No shortcuts, no apologies. You want change. Be the change you want better. Do better not because you hate where you've been, but because you know where you're going. This year, let every move you make say one thing. I will not die with my potential still inside me. 2025 is not asking for the old you. It's calling out the version of you that doesn't play small anymore, the version of you that owns their past but doesn't live there, the version of you that knows the climb will be steep but still puts one foot in front of the other. Anyway, let the world sleep on you. Let the doubters talk. You got work to do. You've got vision to fulfill. You've got healing to complete. You've got dreams that are starving for your discipline, your courage, and your fire. Rebuilding doesn't mean you're broken. It means you're done pretending that good enough is enough. It means you're ready to stop existing and start living with purpose, with power, with no more waiting, no more shrinking, no more playing the background of your own life. So when they ask what changed in 2025, tell them I did. Tell them this was the year I stopped waiting and started building. The year I stopped doubting and started doing. The year I stopped running from my reflection and started becoming the person I was born to be. This is your time. This is your rebuild.